Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show, our council meeting. And start off as Johnny Cash monologue here. Yes. So tonight is our regular meeting of Weyburn City Council, held here, the council chambers at 5 p.m. Monday, 27th of May, 2019. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting and strategic planning and priorities meeting held May 13th, 2019. Do I have someone there, please?
I'll make that motion, Your Worship.
And do I have a seconder?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Additions to the agenda. Mr. Warren?
None from administration, Your Worship.
Council? Nothing? So with that, we will move forward. There's no public hearings and notices. Today on delegations, proclamations, and petitions, we have two on the schedule, and one is first off Recreation and Parks Month. So let me read this proclamation, if you would, please. Whereas in Saskatchewan, we are fortunate to have a variety of recreation and parks systems providing countless recreation opportunities for residents and visitors from around the world. And whereas recreation enhances quality of life, active living, and lifelong learning, helps people live happier and longer, develops skills and positive self-image in children and youth, and develops creativity and builds healthy bodies and positive lifestyles. And whereas recreation participation builds family, unity, and social capital, strengthens volunteer and community development, enhances social interaction, creates community pride and validity, and promotes sensitivity and understanding of cultural diversity. And whereas recreation, therapeutic recreation, and leisure education are essential to enhancing the quality of life of individuals who experience living with disability or have become ill or at disadvantage. And whereas the benefits provided by recreation and parks programs and services reduce health care and social service costs, serve to boost the economy, economic renewal, and sustainability, enhance property values, attract new businesses, and increase tourism. And whereas our park and open space and trails ensure ecological sustainability, provide space to enjoy nature and help maintain clean air and water, and preserve plant and animal wildlife. And whereas all levels of government, the non-profit and voluntary sectors, and private enterprise throughout the province participate in planning, development, and operation of recreation and parks programs, services, and facilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Saskatchewan Parks and Recreation Association, SPRA, does hereby proclaim that June, which witnesses the greeting of Saskatchewan and services as a significant gateway to family activities, has been designated as June is Recreation, Parks and Month, and will annually recognize and celebrate the benefits derived year-round from quality public and private recreation and parks resources at the local, regional, and provincial levels. Therefore, I, Marcel Roy, Mayor of the City of Weyburn, in recognition of the benefits and values that recreation, parks, and leisure services provide, do hereby designate the month of June as June is Recreation Parks Month. Signed this date. There we go. Thank you. And we're on to the second proclamation, which is Weyburn Tourism. And with this one, whereas May 26th to June 1st, 2019 has been proclaimed Saskatchewan Tourism Week by the Government of Saskatchewan, and whereas tourism in Saskatchewan contributes to $2.37 billion annually to the provincial economy, and more than 13.6 million visits are made to and within the province each year, and whereas over 95% of tourism and tourism-related businesses are small or medium-sized independently owned and operated companies, and tourism provides full or part-time jobs to 63,800 residents of Saskatchewan, almost 10% of the current working population. Therefore, I, Marcel Roy, Mayor of the City of Weyburn, do hereby proclaim May 26th to June 1st, 2019 as Saskatchewan Tourism Week in the City of Weyburn. There we go. And Twyla, would you like to say a couple words? No? Okay. Just take a picture. Okay. We'll do it this way. And Jill, thank you. And we'll give Paige those two, if you would, please. Okay, moving forward. There's no reports of standing committees. There's nothing here tonight. Consent agenda. Do you have a motion, please?
I have one, Your Worship. I'll make a motion that the cash activities report for the month of April be accepted as presented.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Seeing no discussion, call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. For motions, accounts payable, if you would, please.
Your worship, I'll step out for this one.
Do you have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Worship. So make a motion that the purchases dated May 6, 2019, where pecuniary interest has been disclosed, be passed for payment. The purchases included are $116.54.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Do you have another accounts payable?
Your Worship, I'd like to make the motion that the purchases in the amount of $981,685.85 from May 10th, 2019 to May 23rd, 2019 be passed for payment. The purchases include quick pays totaling $15,136.15, accounts payable totaling $845.23, and debit card transactions totaling $1,704.47.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried unanimously. We now go to the Show and Shine Car Show liquor permit. Mr. Warren?
Thank you, Your Worship. So we have a request from the Royal Canadian Legion for a liquor permit for the Show and Shine event coming up here on Saturday, June 15th. And they're looking for a liquor permit from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. They've met all the requirements for security and snow fence as required by SLGA. Just need approval from council.
Your worship, I'll move that the request from the Royal Canadian Legion Weyburn branch to make application to Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during the Show and Shine Car Show at a temporary patio location on 153rd Street Northeast from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. to be held on June 15th be approved.
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Other than the show last year, I know was bigger and better than ever, and there's expectations that's going to be. And your Walk of Fame will be at that point in time. Yeah. At which time?
At 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock on that day. That being said, all in favor? Carried unanimously. Weyburn Agricultural Society Exhibition Liquor Permit. Mr. Warren?
Thank you, Your Worship. So we have a request from the Weyburn Egg Society for their annual exhibition. They're looking for a liquor permit, and they're looking for Monday, July 1st from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m., Tuesday, July 2nd from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m., Thursday, July 4th from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., Friday, July 5th from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., and Saturday, July 6th from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. Once again, they met all the requirements for SLGA. They have security and they have a fenced-off area for this event as well.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Your Worship. I'll make a motion that the request from the Weyburn Agricultural Society to make application to the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during events at the exhibition grounds on July 1st from 5 to 10 p.m., the 2nd from 5 to 10 p.m., the 4th from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., the 5th from 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., and the 6th from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. That's again July 2019, be approved.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Prairie Sky Co-op liquor permit.
So another request here, so from the Prairie Sky Co-op, they're holding an employee association barbecue. So this is strictly for their employees and their families. They're requesting a liquor permit for June 15th from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. So they're looking at using the Weyburn Youngfellows compound, which is the northeast corner of the food store lot, located on 215 2nd Street in Weyburn.
Richard?
Thanks, Your Worship. I make a motion that the request from the Prairie Sky Co-op to make application to the Saskatchewan Liquor and Gaming Authority to sell alcohol during its employee appreciation barbecue be held in the Weyburn Youngfellows compound at 215 2nd Street on June 15th from 5 to 9 p.m. be approved.
Second?
I'll second that, Your Worship.
Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Asbestos Assessment RFP. Mr. Warren? Or Andrew? Yes. Seeing
Thank
that
you, Your
are
Worship.
our facilities person, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. So some background. To meet current OHS regulations, the City of Weyburn must perform an asbestos material assessment through all of its city-owned buildings. $50,000 was included in the 2019 budget to have this process carried out. This is a specialized procedure that must be completed by trained professionals who are educated in hazardous material identification and handling. A request for proposal was posted by the City of Weyburn on March 28, 2019, with a submission deadline of May 13, 2019. The City of Weyburn received 4 proposals with an estimate spread of $52,900 between the low and high bids. One proposal was disqualified as it did not provide a complete cost estimate, including all deliverables requested. It has not been included on the chart shown above. Of the proposals examined, not all included the same level of clarity or professionalism. Some left room for interpretation and included extra expenses not built into the bid price. Sample pricing and quantity also varied substantially between bids, causing concerns of finalizing the project at a much higher cost than initially estimated. It is recommended that the asbestos material assessment of city-owned facilities be awarded to Pinchin Ltd. in the amount of $42,845 plus associated tax. The provided proposal fits within the assigned budget, meets all requirements of the city, and presents the smallest risk of deviation from the estimated bid price.
With that, Your Worship, I'd like to make a motion that the bid of Pinchard Limited to provide asbestos material assessment for the City of Weyburn's owned facilities in the amount of $42,845 plus associated taxes be accepted.
Your Worship, I'll second that motion.
Discussion? We'll start off. Mr. Mickle first.
Thank you, Worship. Andrew, thanks for bringing this motion to the table. On asbestos, the next step, after you've identified the situation in the city-owned buildings, what's the next step?
Yeah, so part of the process of the identification is cataloging everything so that we're prepared in the future if we need to do any repairs or additions or work to our facilities. So this will just give us an idea of where things are included so that we can budget properly and take the proper safety measures necessary in the future.
Thank you.
Mr. Van Bessu?
Thank you, Your Worship. I was just wondering if, in this proposal, if there's anything, if they give you any idea as to the cost of abatement for the different facilities, or that's not in part of the proposal?
So as part of the proposal, we asked that they identify everything and rate every level of hazard to the employee and to the public who enter our facility, but they don't actually cover the cost to abate the areas. We would have to go back to them for pricing afterwards to sort that out.
So they don't give you a ballpark figure in the cost of abatement or anything like that?
Not within the RFP.
Last thing, Andrew, the RFP, we're seeing a lot of this, that some of these RFPs are really distant between the two of them, and also to what we are actually getting are, and I know that you write out your RFPs really good and try to explain what you want, and then they come back in to manage it. But why are these, like that one is 77,000, what are they doing that they're expecting that much more? Or were they doing more? Or is there some stuff that these ones at the lower are gonna do some add-ons afterwards?
So when we put the RFP out, we specify the services we require, and then we receive their bids in. And for the most part, all of the bids that you see on the chart there, they've provided us with the same end service. However, we saw quite a large difference in the number of samples that they were going to provide or the costing of that samples. That being said, the bid on the high end didn't have anything extra. That was just what their pricing came in at, so I'm not 100% sure why it comes in so much higher than the other two. So when looking at the bids that come in, the two kind of in the middle, so the two low bids on that chart there are the ones that we'll really go through with a fine comb.
Mr. Chesel?
Your Worship, just, I guess, kind of speaking on what Mel was talking about earlier about finding out what it is actually worth, like, would that be worth finding out? That way we're not doing another tender for an estimate on all these? Would they, or will this company also, is that something they would provide? Is what it would cost to fix if we had to, all this?
That's something that we could request from them. That's kind of like an addendum to their pricing. We have 50 owned facilities though, so I don't think there's going to be a situation where you're looking at abating all the asbestos immediately. It's very expensive to do, so I think the first step is us just cataloging and identifying where the asbestos is, and then when it comes down the road where we want to complete projects, we can then add that into that bid.
Good answer, that makes complete sense.
And I guess the last thing is, you said that this is a requirement for OH&S for simply healthy living for our employees, right?
Correct, yes.
And also the citizens too that are.
Yes, so this is something that I actually worked on with our safety officer to go through this process, and it's just another step in the city meeting the OHS requirements. And then, of course, the buildings where we have public entry, and it is good to know where the asbestos is so that we can make sure we're doing our due diligence and protecting them.
Right. So no further questions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. There's no introduction of bylaws, no unfinished business. There's no new business. Inquiries and announcements? Anything? Mr. Mickle.
When Your Worship, we want to remind everybody out there, it's Household Hazardous Waste Days. This is Saturday, June the 8th, from 9 o'clock to 3. It's at our Public Work Roundhouse at 55 16th Street Northeast. And also that same day, Sarcan will be open as well to accept paint and electronics only. That's on 1800 Ebel Road. If you need any other information on this, you can go to the City of Weyburn's website. It's on there. Or if you wish to call engineering, you can call them at 306-848-3230. And I also want to thank Councillor Bailey for going on the media today and telling the people out there exactly what I'm saying now. It's only once a year this happens, so it's a good time to clean everything up. And Councillor Bailey and I sit on the Environment Committee. Thanks for doing that, Winston. And I hope everybody, if you have any questions again, phone our engineering department, and a good time to clean out the mess.
I have a couple things, Your Worship. We have a busy Father's Day weekend coming up, Saturday, June 15th. As you heard earlier, we have the Show and Shine on downtown. There's also the Walk of Fame, I believe, at 2 o'clock on that Saturday. And then Sunday, on Father's Day, it'll start out with the Opportunity Road Race. And then the City of Weyburn celebration of Recreation and Parks Month will be holding our Trails Day at Riverside Park with live entertainment, family entertainment, food vendors and more. Plus, we'll also have the Duck Derby at 1 p.m. that day. So pretty action-packed weekend, and make sure to come out and bring the family out for all those events.
We can add one more to that, Councillor Jessel, that June 15th weekend is also the Crocus Open at our local golf tournament here. And it's a good event, very reasonable price. You get 3 rounds of golf, a practice round on Friday night, and then competition Saturday, Sunday, steak supper, breakfast, and 2 horse races, one for the regular horse race and one for us old guys. And they're a lot of fun. I'm going to make it this year. Cross my fingers. Thank you.
Just want to keep advising people too. Where Mr. Van Betju, Mr. Richards, and I are on the Police Commission, they'll be starting a survey so that if you get these phone calls, it is going to be a survey about the police department, and that should be starting. Mr. Van Betju, is it about mid-May? Or mid-June, I should say. The rear goes mid-May is gone already, but mid-June is what is there. Right, just so that so mid-June, and as he said, if you can't get it started, mid-September, what we're doing there. I believe the fire department is also doing a door-to-door campaign also coming up later on, so that will also be, so be aware of that, and don't, that it's not with so many scams being around, there are some realistic things. The oil show is coming up. Golf tournament's on the 4th of June, and then the 5th and 6th will be the oil show. And this week, Mr. Richards and I will be traveling eastward to the convention of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and be representing down there for the Wednesday to Monday. So those are the things that's going on with our council. Any other flyers and announcements? With that, there's no notice of motions, and so I will call an adjournment to this meeting. Thank you.